Welcome to a belated sunset safari here in the middle of the African bush. We are in search of a female leopard and her two cubs. This is Safari Live. Ready.
Standing by.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You are live, you are live.
And welcome to the middle of the African bush. I apologize for the late start today. We've been trying to sort out some communication issues. So we've got a bunch of new radios and a bunch of new cables to confuse people like me. So my name is Brent Smith. I have Vim on camera with me, and we are on a game drive, a live game drive in the middle of the African bush. Oh, sorry, I missed the road there. Oh, exciting stuff. I'm heading towards a female leopard with cubs, and hopefully she's still going to be there. She killed an impala last night. And a big welcome to Kempsville Elementary School. Great to have you with us, guys. What a wonderful way to have a school lesson out in the bush with me. Now, of course, it's not only me. Jamie is going to be out shortly, so you'll be seeing her. Now, guys, if you've got any questions, please send them through. I'd love to hear from you. Now, wonder what the first animal we're going to spot is. I've already spotted it. It's on the road in front of us. And let's get a little bit closer. Hello, impalas. Aren't they pretty? Oh, and they're very fast today. Look at them go. Off you go. So it's an impala, about the same size as a white-tailed deer that you'll get in the US. Of course, it's not a deer. Impala keep their horns throughout their life, unlike deer who lose their horns. And they only keep their horns for the breeding season, when they're looking for girlfriends, the boys. Now, an antelope, which is what an impala is, will keep its horns throughout its life. Very, very pretty antelope. Now, we're going to maybe see one of those that is no longer. So, it's one of the leopard's favorite foods. And our favorite female leopard, her name is Karula. She killed an impala last night, and that's her and her two cubs have been feeding on. And we're heading towards where she was right now. We should be there in a few minutes. Isn't that exciting? We're going to see one of Africa's big cats, the elusive leopard. Okay, we're nearly at that leopard. Not too far to go now. So we're driving through what you would call mixed woodland or broad-leafed woodland. Now, it's very good if you're an impala. There's another impala dancing next to us. Oh, isn't she fast? And also lots of elephants around. Buffalo, lions even possibly. So lots of really great African wildlife in this part of the world. Now, we're part of an 8.5 million acre unfenced area known as the Greater Limpopo Transfrontier Park. We are currently in the Sabi Sands, which is in the sort of west and center of this 8.5 million acre unfenced reserve. Give you an idea, there's about 16,000 elephants that live in this reserve, just under 2,000 lions, 2,000 leopards, and they all get to live wild and free and protected from poachers and things. Now in this area there are also quite a few safari lodges. That's where people come on safari to visit Africa and to have a look at the bush and all the animals in it. Now you're going on a different type of safari. Are you joining me on safari from your classroom? Okay, so now I'm going off the road. This is where the leopards were this morning, so we're going to have to keep our eyes open. Hopefully they're still here. That leopard hadn't put its impala in the tree yet. Let's keep our eyes peeled. Now, while we've been gone, that impala kill was just here. Now, it could have been stolen by a hyena during the day, could have been stolen by a lion, but it hasn't. The leopards are still here. There we go. It's a mom and a baby. Okay, I'm just going to try and get us into a good spot now. Got to look around because there's actually two cubs, two babies. One is a male and one is a female. And I'm sure, look, from what I saw, that was the little male. And there's the little female. They're both right here. Hi, guys. There we go. There's a little female leopard there. Her name is Shongile, the exquisitely beautiful one. Although she's quite tired because she's got a tummy full of impala. Next to there's Karula. She's the mom. And then behind is Hosanna, the little prince. Well, Mrs. Drum's class is wondering, where in the world are we? We're in South Africa, right down at the southern tip of Africa. We're in the northeastern part of South Africa, in our province, which is like a state. It's called Mpumalanga. Now, that's a very good name for a state or a province on the eastern side of the country, because as we all know, the sun rises in the east, and Mpumalanga means where the sun rises, where the sun comes up in the local language. Isn't this just magical? Now, this is one of the best mother leopards you see. She's raised almost all of her cubs to adulthood. Oh, there we go, you little yawn. And in the last, 3 days, she's killed 2 impala and a duiker. So she's been very successful at hunting recently. Well, Alicia would like to know, how many animals have I seen in this reserve called Djuma? Now, That's a difficult question. I've probably seen about 25 different leopards, probably 30 different lions, and impala and zebra and buffalo. I couldn't count. So many, too many to count. Here's the little boy. Look at that. Isn't he beautiful? Now, Jaden is wondering what time of the day is it here. It's 4:10 in the afternoon, Jaden. And he's climbing a big termite mound. And leopards often climb termite mounds. It's a great place to get a good view around. So the cubs are about 8 months old now. Oh, Queen Karula, where are you off to? She might be going to eat on the impala kill. And you can see how close they come to our cars. Isn't that amazing? If you drive carefully and respectfully around these animals, they treat you like you're not even there. I'm just watching. She's gone directly behind us. Okay, let's go. There's the little male sleeping on top of the termite mound. I just want to see where is she going. Trying to keep an eye out behind us, seeing if she's going back to the kill, which is hidden in the base of that tree there. There we go. You can see that's a male impala because it's got horns. Now Kai Ray is wondering, how do animals survive in the wild without being taken care of? Well, Kai Ray, they take care of themselves. So that leopard catches impalas for its baby, so she takes care of her cubs. But when they get old enough, they'll go off and they'll have to take care of themselves as well. Just seeing if she's going to go to the carcass now. She might have heard something. Now, leopards are opportunistic hunters. So if another impala happened to walk past here, she would definitely try and catch it. But she's going to go have a snack. Okay, let's move around so we can watch her feeding. And while we do that, Chloe is wondering, how many different types of predators do we get here? Oh, well, let's just stick to the mammal predators. We won't go into the reptiles and amphibians, but out of the big predators, we get lions, leopards, hyenas, cheetah, wild dog. Out of the slightly smaller ones, we get jackal, 2 species of jackal, black back and side striped. We get 3 species of small cat, one called a caracal, and one called a serval, another one called an African wildcat. Then we also get quite a few different species of mongoose, which are also predators. Banded mongoose, there we go, there. Slender mongoose, Meller's mongoose, white-tailed mongoose. There we go. How's that, Vim? Mrs. Drum would like to know if we've ever broken down in our car, and what do we do for help? Well, when did we last break down, Vim?
This morning.
This morning, yes, that was it. This morning, the steering arm was bent, so I climbed under the car and I hit it with a wheel spanner to try straighten it. Then I went home very, very slowly, and then we got Opa, our mechanic, to fix it. And then a couple of days ago, I bent the steering arm again, a bit worse this time, that we had to call for Opa to come out and help us straighten it out in the bush. So we've got in radio contact with everyone, so we can call for help. But in my years in the bush, I have been in places where there is no help, and you've just got to make a plan, or you've got to walk to the nearest place where you can get some help from. You can hear her crunching on the rib cage there. Okay, well, we're going to sit here and see what happens next with the leopards. But I said I'm not the only person out here, so let's go meet Jamie.
Hello and welcome on your LiveSafari experience. My name is Jamie, and this afternoon I have a man called Gendre on camera with me. Gendre is very shy, so it's only if we answer really good questions or perhaps answer a quiz or two, you might see his thumb. That's all you'll ever get to see of Gendre. But I hope you've all been having an amazing time with Brent and that leopard. I want to show you something a little bit different. I'm going to go and search of the creature that is responsible for this, but first I'm going to take you to where I live, and I'm going to show you what happens in the middle of the night when elephants come and pay a visit. Now this is my driveway, this is where I live at night. I want to show you something very, very interesting. And at the same time, I'm hoping we're going to find a very secretive bird. I heard them calling outside my window, and I'm hoping they are still around. So, this is my driveway. I've cleaned it up a little bit because last night, whoopsie, what do you think came through here? If we have a look at what's currently in my driveway and the fact that the trees are all pushed over sideways, and it's not just that, look, the animal in question left evidence of what they have done. Let's go and have a look at the evidence and see if you can work out what animal was responsible for this mess in my driveway. Let's grab some of it, but being careful because this tree's actually got horrible thorns. Let's have a look at what we've got here. Oh, the elephant, the animal that left this behind. Something quite big, something quite large, and something obviously that eats trees and things. Now what do you think I'm playing with? It's a piece of the animal's poo. What do you think that might be? You can see what's inside this. Bits of grass maybe, leaves, bits of tree, bits of my garden, all kinds of things in here. Now, this is a pile of poo. Can you guess what animal left it behind? I'm going to just leave it in my driveway. Now, you might think it's a little bit gross for me to be touching something like that. I will wash my hands afterwards. It's very important that you don't play with any poo of an animal unless an adult says it's okay. But because it's an animal that eats plants, I'm not too worried. If it was an animal that eats meat, then I might be slightly more concerned. Now, right, let me see if we can find this little bird that was calling. I'm hoping we can. It might be a little bit too far away. It's a very, very secretive little bird. It's a tiny bird. Let me see if I can spot it. I don't know exactly where it is. I'm usually quite good at finding them. See if you can help me look. Maybe they've flown away. They make a beautiful call. It sounds a bit like this. And it's a little owl. A tiny little owl. I think I gave it away, or you're all too clever. You say you think it is an elephant that came into my garden last night. You are absolutely right. And let me tell you a funny story about that, because I can't find this bird. I'm looking very carefully, but I can't find where it is. But let me tell you a funny story. So last night I came home, and Brent had sent me a message to say there's elephants in the garden, be careful. And I had to park my car, and I couldn't get out of my car. I was stuck. There was absolutely nothing I could do. I had to sit in the driveway for half an hour and wait for the elephants to finish feeding. Obviously, this is their home. This whole reserve is their home. So I wasn't about to go and chase them away. Mainly because it was very dark and they were very big. And I was very trapped. So I had to sit for half an hour in the dark in the driveway in my car, waiting for the elephants to all move. But it was beautiful. I got to sit and watch elephants in the dark, under the moonlight. Not bad. And Taylor, you want to know, are elephants dangerous? Yes, they can be. All wild animals can be dangerous, and it's really very important that we remember that animals are out here are totally 100% wild, and we must never ever take that for granted. Now, an elephant can be dangerous, but you've got to learn. If you live in a place with lots of different animals, you've got to learn to speak their language. If you learn to speak an elephant's language, you'll be able to tell when it's angry, so that you can say, okay, I understand that you're angry, I'm going to move away from you. Or you can see where they're okay, they're happy to have you around, and then you can stay and you can watch them. So that's where it's very, very important. And whenever we're with elephants, we're constantly watching what that elephant is doing. Now, those particular herd of elephants opened the gate. The gate was shut, they opened the gate, and they came inside, because elephants are very, very clever. And those are the animals that I'm going to be searching for this afternoon. I want to show you a beautiful herd of elephants. And I suspect that the culprits responsible for making a mess in my driveway are probably somewhere still in the area. We can go and sit and spend a little bit of time with them and enjoy their company. Let's see what we can find. I think I made that quiz too easy. I think we're going to have to think of a more difficult one as we go along. So while I look for elephants and also think of more difficult questions to ask you, let's head back across to Brent, because he's got those gorgeous leopards.
Isn't that amazing? Out here we even get elephants in our garden. And believe it or not, we've actually even had a leopard in the garden. And the leopard we had in the garden was this very leopard. Now, remember at the beginning, we saw those antelope running next to the car, and Urilis is wondering, what is the leopard eating? It is eating an impala, which is the most common antelope we get here. And as I said, they're about the same size as a white-tailed deer that you might see in the US. So she killed this yesterday, and it's nearly finished, even though that's probably 120 pounds of meat. But remember, it's not only her eating, it's her and her two babies. Now see, when she turns her head to the side like that, she's using her premolars, which are like big scissors. Now Alicia's wondering, are there monkeys here? Indeed there are, Alicia. And if the monkeys saw the leopard, they'd start shouting from the top of the tree. They make lots of noise. They're very good at watching out for leopards and lions. And they're one of the ways we always find leopards and lions, is when we hear the monkeys shouting from the top of the tree. You know what the monkey says? He goes, leopard. The other monkey goes, where? There. Now what we're hoping might happen here this afternoon is that, because this is nearly finished, it means the leopards might not be here tomorrow. But there are lots of antelope around here. There's some impala. So what that leopard is eating is a male impala, and just on the other side of us, probably about 100 feet away, no, probably more than that, 200-300 foot, there we go, there's some more impala. and they don't know the leopard's here. So that's what the leopard is eating, a live version. Isn't this incredible? Now, Marek would like to know, are there wolves and sloths where we are? Well, Marek, no, they're not. We get jackals and wild dogs, which are part of the dog family, but no wolves. And sloths only live in South America, not South Africa. So the little cubs are still just sleeping on the termite mound. So we're going to stick with the mom while she's eating. Now she can eat about 12 pounds of meat in one go, and then she'll go lie down and sleep, and within a very quick time, a couple of hours, she would have digested that meat already, and she'll start feeding again. So that's a big male impala, and Bradley's wondering how big it is. Probably weighs about 120 to 140 pounds. And she probably weighs about 95 pounds. So it's bigger than her, and they can run very fast. That's their main way of escaping from leopards and lions. And then so she's taking the shoulder out now. So that's the shoulder bone, you can see her pulling there. Yum yum if you're a leopard. So impalas get eaten by lots of different things. So obviously they need to have a way of protecting themselves. So their protection is to be very aware, and they use their eyes and then their speed. So the horns they have there are not for protecting themselves. The horns are for fighting with other impalas when they're looking for girlfriends. I can hear some elephants quite close by, but it seems like Jamie's already found an elephant, so let's go have a look.
We have indeed already found an elephant hiding behind a bush. And look at it just peeking out over the top. You just see the tips of its tusks, and then of course that incredible trunk that he's using to shovel the food into his mouth, wrapping around the branches and the sticks just like they were doing last night when they blocked up our driveway. You see how amazing an elephant's trunk truly is, twisting and turning. Now there's no bones in an elephant trunk, it is pure muscle. Now Kennedy, this is quite a young bull, but you would like to know, how big do elephants get? Well, Kennedy, a big male elephant can go up to usually around 5 to 6 tons in kilograms, so that's, what's that? That's just over 10,000 pounds, closer to 12,000 pounds in weight. There are even record-breaking cases of elephant bulls that are even bigger than that. So an elephant bull, or elephants, will continue to grow throughout their lives. Let's see if we can reposition so we can see them again. Because he's actually not alone. There's more elephants off to the left of me, but they're also hiding in some very dense vegetation. And I'm hoping that the little bull will start coming and moving across in front of us. I think he's going to. So there's a mom and a baby, quite a big baby, not a little baby. Oh, hold on. Here comes our little boy. He's about to walk across the road in front of us. Here he comes. Hello, mister. How are you? Now, the reason that I know that he is a boy is because he's hanging out at the end of the herd. No, it's because he's becoming a teenager, which means that he is starting to become more and more separate, from the rest of his herd. And very soon, when he is ready to leave, he will go out on his own and spend most of his life either with other males or on his own. Now, Faith, you want to know how long an elephant can live for. The answer to that is almost as long as a human being. So an elephant can live up to 60, even 70 years old in the wild, but more usually sort of between 45 and 50 years old. Now here's the story, or one of the reasons why elephants actually can't live past that. Now an elephant, in order to sustain their massive size, obviously they only eat plants. So to sustain themselves, which is why whenever we see them they're busy eating, they have to eat all the time. Now imagine if you had to eat all the time, while you were at school, while you were at home, basically all the time. And you can't really sleep for too long, sleep for 20 minutes or so if you're an adult elephant, and then eat some more, and eat some more, and eat some more. What happens with elephants is that they actually wear down their teeth. So the hard bark and the branches eventually mean that the teeth run down and the elephant can't chew properly. Now, elephants are very, very clever in that they have a way of getting around this. So they have 6 sets of teeth. You only have 1 set of permanent teeth. So if you lose your adult teeth, well, maybe some of you still have your baby teeth that you're going to lose, and then you're going to get your adult teeth. But once you get your adult teeth, you've only got 1 of those. So your incisors and your canines and your molars, you only get 1 once your adult teeth have grown. Elephants get 6 of them throughout their lives. But when an elephant does get old, when they get to about the age of 45, it's their last set of teeth, and that is that. Then they're done. And then they start to struggle to get all of the food that they need. Plus, it's the normal thing of growing older. They can't hear as well, they can't see as well. They start to get a little bit thin, and eventually they will die of old age. But they can live nearly as long as a human being. Now, here's the important thing. See how I spoke about, oh, look at this elephant, she's giving us such a good... giving us a good example of her massive strength. Look, she's going down onto her wrists. Those are not her knees, they are her wrists. And she's pushing a massive dead tree over. Now, why do you think she's doing that? See how clever she is? Look at the grass that is in front of her foot. Now, look at the grass at the back where that was under the dead tree. See the difference? See how much greener it is, how much longer it is? And that's because she knows that underneath dead trees, the grass there is perfectly sheltered. It doesn't get trodden upon by things like buffalo and antelope, and it doesn't lose water very quickly because it is protected by shade constantly. So that's how clever an elephant is, that she knows she must push that dead tree away so that she can get to the fresh green stuff underneath. Now she's wrapping her trunk around it. She's going to shake it and into her mouth. Awesome. Elephants are such fantastic creatures. Of course, elephants are fantastic creatures, and so are leopards. Let's go back across to Brent and see what those gorgeous cats are up to.
So we've got a leopard to the right of us, and we've got elephants to the left of us. Isn't that incredible? Hello, Ellies. Big herd of elephants has just started walking past. They haven't seen the leopard yet, otherwise they would chase it. Elephants don't like predators, even though the leopard poses no threat to the elephants. Oh, she's moving the carcass. See, there we go. She's worried the elephants are going to chase her. Look at this, look at this. She's going to try to take it up the tree. Now she's worried the elephants are going to might chase her if they smell her. So she wants to get that impala up the tree where it's safe. See how she's looking up? do. Come on, Queen Karula. I know it's a heavy impala, but we always want her to lift the kills into the tree because it keeps them safe from hyenas. It means she'll be in one place for longer. Oh, there's an elephant coming again. If that elephant comes this way, it's going to come straight towards her. So she looks like she's looking up at the tree again. What are you going to do, Karula? Are you going to take your kill up the tree? Decision time. She's getting ready. Now you must remember, even that impala that's been eaten quite a lot is going to weigh probably around 60 or 70 pounds, and she's got to carry it straight up that tree. Now, Vera Liz is wondering, how many babies can a leopard have? Well, normally 2, sometimes 3, sometimes 1, but normally just 2. See how she looks up the tree? It's a good tree. Can you believe I've actually seen her in this tree with another kill about 6 months ago. She had a little diker in the tree. Now the elephants have gone past, but she still might want to take it up the tree for safety, because we are getting later in the afternoon, which means the hyenas and the lions might start moving. So if she hadn't eaten a lot of that impala already, it would be too heavy for her to carry up a tree. She's a small female leopard. A big male leopard wouldn't have too much problem. There we go, she's getting ready. So she's got to try get it in a good spot for her to carry it. There she goes. Seeing where those elephants have gone. Can't see them now, but that carcass might still be a little bit heavy for her. Come on, Queen Karula, you can do it. There she goes. Look at that. Isn't that incredible? That impala probably weighs the same as she does. And she's carried it right up the tree. Isn't that amazing? How strong is a leopard? VM, you with me? She put the diker in the exact same place.
No, I don't think I was on the sighting.
Weren't you in the sighting?
On that sighting.
I've got a photo of it even. So I said, I've seen her in this tree with a different animal kill. Kyrie is asking, how much weight can a leopard carry up a tree? Well, Kyrie said they can carry just over their own body weight. So that's impressive. So for a female leopard rider, she weighs about 45 kilograms, so 100 pounds or so. Probably carry 110 pounds up a tree. So more than she weighs. Isn't that amazing? Okay, so we're going to say goodbye and send you back to Jamie with some elephants. It's been great having you all on the drive with us, and I hope you enjoy your time with the biggest land mammal in the world.
We are still sitting here with this herd of elephants because they are one of my favorite animals to just sit and enjoy spending time and a little bit of time with. You've just seen that incredible interaction with Queen Karula and the elephant herd. This is a completely separate herd. I have no idea if they're responsible for the mess or not. Either way, it is a privilege to sit with them and just watch them. Now, this big female is doing exactly what the other one was doing, which is pushing all of these dead trees out of the way so that she can get to whatever's underneath. You can see she's still busy doing it. Her trunk sneaking in. Faith, you want to know what do elephants eat? Well, remember, Faith, we were looking at some elephant poo before, and we could see all of the stuff that was in the elephant poo, and now we're watching what the elephants are eating. They will eat grass, they will eat leaves and bark and roots. Sometimes they dig underneath the ground to get to things like tubers. So basically a big, almost like a cucumber or potato thing underneath the ground that we get here in the African bush, and they will dig that up and eat that as well. But it's important to remember they only eat plants, so they are what's known as herbivores. They only eat plants. Sometimes, if they find a bone in the bush, they might pick up the bone and chew on it for a bit, but it's not really because they want to eat it. It's more to just basically like taking your vitamins and your minerals every day. If you take a little vitamin supplement, it's like that for an elephant. But that's what they do. Now, Brandon C., you wanted to know how tall do elephants grow. Brandon, they can be up to 15 feet at the shoulder. And I'm actually going to try and show you, Brandon, while we look at these elephants. This is something that was done on a computer, but it compares me and my height to the size of a big elephant bull. So let me just find it. You can watch the Eddies for now, and I'll find it for you. And then you can get an idea of just how tall an elephant will get. It is absolutely amazing, and I think you'll be astounded at how big they truly are. Now, 15 feet, that means if you have a bungalow or a single-story house, if you were to go and stand next to it, an elephant's shoulder would come almost up to the top of that. There we go. Hold on, I found it for you. So this is something that one of the viewers, or several of the viewers, made for me on a computer. So it's photoshopped. It's not real. I'm not standing that close to an ellie because I'd be in very big trouble if I was standing that close to an elephant. But we used the same size, the same tree, as a comparison shot. So that's me over there. And I'm not tall and I'm not short. I'm sort of somewhere in the middle. And this is the elephant bull. So that's how big an elephant can be. Just to give you an idea, see, my entire body is the size of that elephant's trunk. That's how massive these creatures are and how tall they are. He's basically as tall as two of me. If I stood on my shoulders, I still might not be quite as tall as him. So there you go. That's a really nice example so you can see just how tall they can get. And Peyton, very good question. You're thinking about, because the elephant is the largest mammal here, what is the smallest? Well, we've got, I would say, probably one of the smallest is an animal called an elephant shrew. So how funny is that? The biggest is an elephant and one of the smallest is an elephant shrew. And we're talking about mammals now, remember, because there's lots of insects and amphibians that will be smaller. But an elephant shrew looks like a mouse with a long nose. Not as long as an elephant's trunk, but quite a long nose. So we've got elephant shrews, bushveld gerbils. The smallest carnivore that we have out here is an animal I'm hoping I can show you at some point, which is called a dwarf mongoose, which kind of looks a little bit like a weasel, but is really, really tiny. So we've got big things and we've got small things and everything in between. Now our elephants have disappeared. Luckily I can see them in front of me. Very good question from Eurolus. You want to know, how do elephants keep cool? Now, elephants are very, very clever because bear in mind, out here in South Africa, okay, today's a cold and cloudy day, so it's not very hot at all today in the bush, but on a hot summer's day, we can go well into over 110 Fahrenheit, well over 45 degrees centigrade, so it gets very, very hot. And you want to know, how does a big animal like an elephant keep cool? Well, they've actually got almost like an inbuilt air conditioning system. What they do is, you see the ears, you see how massive their ears are. That's not so that they can hear very well, it's so that it's to cool them down. You see, look closely, look really closely on the edge of the elephant's ears. Can you see all those bumps? Now those are blood vessels. Like those people, perhaps you have seen prominent veins on your hands or on the hands of your parents or your grandparents. That's what's there. It's blood. Hey boy, thank you. Giving us a head shake. That's blood flowing through the ears. Now because the ears are so thin and so large, basically what it does is it's kind of like having a fan blowing on them. It cools their blood down, and then the blood in the ears can flow to the rest of the body and cool the whole elephant down. So they've got lots and lots of veins and arteries and capillaries, so that lots and lots of blood flows through the elephant's ear at one time, and then they flap their ears on a hot day to help keep themselves cool. But sometimes that's not enough, and on a really hot day, guess what elephants love to do? Elephants love to go swimming. And they can swim. They can swim very, very well. And they can even use their trunk as a snorkel. So they can go right under the water and stick their trunk up high and breathe through their trunk if they need to. And sometimes, if it's a really hot day, which is wonderful to watch, elephants will go and find big, thick piles of mud. And they'll scoop up the mud on the edge of the water and they'll throw it over themselves. And sometimes they even lie down. Even the biggest elephants will lie down in the mud and rub themselves up and down and roll over so that the mud's all over them to help to keep them cool. Look at him reaching up to grab those leaves. Now, we've probably seen about 8 elephants while we've been sitting here, but Chloe, you want to know how many elephants will be in a herd. So in a breeding herd, which of course is made up of females and their little babies, you're probably looking at an average of between 10 and 20. Sometimes there's more than that, there can be up to 30 and more. But it depends on where you are in the world and what the sort of the environmental circumstances are. In other words, has it rained? Is there lots of food? Is there no food? Is there no water? And that will determine how many elephants there are, because often what will happen is an elephant herd will join up with another elephant herd and another elephant herd, and you can get 100, even 200 elephants at a time. And that's because elephants aren't territorial. So unlike Karula, the female leopard that you were with, they don't defend territories. They don't get cross with other elephants when they're in the same place as them, and they get on really, really well. It's almost like they have friends. And sometimes you'll even see when 2 herds come together, the babies run forward to greet their friends from another herd. Now Bradley and Merrick, you've asked me a question I don't know the answer to. You wanted to know how many bones does an elephant have. Okay, so basically every single animal has a certain number of, a certain skeletal structure that's basically the same. And the same goes for elephants and for humans and for lions and for everything. We basically have the same bones. So we've got a spine, we've got a backbone, we've got leg bones and arm bones. But honestly, if I'm completely honest, I have no idea how many bones an elephant has in their body. Really good question. I tell you what, I need you to see if you can find out for me. I don't know how you're going to find out. Maybe you can Google it for me. See if you can find out how many bones an elephant has. In terms of how big their tusks get, well, their tusks can grow longer than me. So if I'm 5'7", there are elephant tusks that have been recorded to have reached over 2 meters long, so over 6 feet, even up to 8 feet in length. And there's some famous places that you can go in the Kruger National Park where they have records, models made of the biggest tusks ever. See, now you've got me thinking, how many bones would an elephant have? Well, we have 206, don't we? Human beings have 206 bones. I would say that an elephant probably has somewhere in the region of that many bones, maybe a bit more, maybe a bit less. I'm not 100% sure, but a very, very good question. I was hoping that for the last few moments we would be able to show you the elephants, but they've moved off. They've gone into hiding. But while I look and see if we can get one last view, Bradley, you wanted to know if elephants are endangered. Yes, they are endangered. It's something very, very sad about human beings. We don't seem to be very good at looking after the amazing animals that we have on this earth. Aha. Oh no, can't show you that elephant. I can see that elephant though. So we'll start looking at this just while I talk about it. So yes, they are endangered. In South Africa, we're really, really lucky in that the laws here and the sort of circumstances protect the elephants quite well. But in other parts of Africa, there are hardly any elephants left. They're slowly but surely being poached for their amazing tusks. Isn't that sad? Being killed for their teeth. Well, it's very important that as you grow up, you learn to love these amazing animals, and hopefully one day when you're big, when you're all grown up, you'll be able to help us and join us in protecting them. Right, I hear that sadly it's time for us to say goodbye to our school. I do hope you've had an amazing time and that you enjoy the rest of your school days further. Until I see you again, bye-bye everybody. I hope you enjoyed your time with the amazing animals of Africa. And for our regular viewers, thank you so much for joining us. I know that you know that these school drives are incredibly valuable. We do thank you for your patience, but I'm sure you all understand how incredibly important this all is. So for our viewers perhaps that have just jumped on board, of course, we were chatting to, if I'm not mistaken, 6- and 7-year-olds in America, so fantastic opportunity for them to learn. But for you jumping on board for the first time, that might have seemed a little bit odd. My name is Jamie, and this afternoon, as I mentioned, we have Jean-Ray on camera with me, and you are on a live safari experience coming to you from Djuma, Arathusa and Cheetah Plains Game Reserve in the Sabi Sand in the Greater Kruger National Park area of South Africa. And because we're live, that means you can interact with us, which means send through your questions on #SafariLive on Twitter, or email through to questions@wildearth.tv, and let's get a little bit of a conversation going. Unfortunately, many of you might have been asking questions, and we had to prioritize the school questions and little kids getting to hear their names on air and getting to learn about the animals. I think that's a fantastic experience. Right, so the plan for this afternoon. Yesterday afternoon, as we get going on the Sunset Safari, we had one of the most extraordinary sightings, and I think most of you will know the one I'm referring to. Brent actually was the one who found the placenta of a female elephant that had just given birth to a tiny little baby. And we actually were going to go and help look for leopards. We were going to go and look for Karula. We We just happened to sit down with an elephant herd, and it just happened to be the one that the tiny baby was born into. And Jandre and myself were the first human beings, along with all of you watching across the globe, to see that little baby for the first time. It was a truly extraordinary, very touching moment, seeing the mothers gather around, the mother and the rest of the herd gather around to protect it. I think it was pure magic, and I went to sleep last night with a big smile on my face. So I thought this afternoon, well, why not? Let's try and see if we can't find it again and that rest of the herd. It's a very identifiable herd because of Fang, the elephant with the backward-facing tusk, whom I'm starting to think if she's not the matriarch of that herd, and she could well be the matriarch of that herd, then she's definitely very high up there. She's second or the third in terms of that herd hierarchy. Okie dokie, while I go off in search of all the elephants on Djuma, let's head across to Brent, who has got those leopards for you.
So we're still sitting with Queen Karula. She's made her way to the termite mound where the cubs were resting up a bit earlier. Oh, elephant's making noise. Does it look like those cubs are going to climb the tree there, man? Okay, let's move. Just want to get into the right position in case those little cubs decide to climb the tree. So for those of you who joined us a little bit late, Karula hoisted that impala carcass a little earlier today. Tell me if I must stop them, because I just got to get into the right spot. Oh. I think we might have just made it in time. Is that little one going to climb the tree? Or just tease us? So it's little Shongila at the base of the tree, but here comes the fat boy himself, Mr. Hosana. Look at that rotund belly. I wonder if he's even going to be able to drag himself up a tree. There we go. Looks like she's going to jump, especially if he comes a bit closer. Come on, little one, up you go. Stop teasing us. Oh, she's just teasing us. Oh no, she's going to go up the other tree. Is she going to try and jump from one tree to the other? That's a bit of a big jump, madam. Uh-oh. We saw you fall out of a tree once today on the sunrise safari. Is this going to be the second time? No, yes, I didn't think that was a good idea. I wonder if she thinks that that's straight. I know, I think she's just playing. Oh, isn't this just wonderful? Having the best time, don't fall. I don't know, 4 out of 5. No, 3 out of 5 dismounts, I think. Ooh, her brother's lining her up. No, I thought there was going to be a little bit more of a tackle than that. Now he's lying at the base of the tree that the impala's in. Shongile seems to be moving off, going back towards where Karula is. Isn't he beautiful? Isn't that just such a lovely coat? So unfortunately we are going to have to leave in the next 5 or so minutes. There are other cars coming to enjoy these incredible cubs. But we will stay as long as we can with Queen Karula and her cubs. Now, Laura in New Mexico is wondering why there seem to be no vultures around leopard kills. Well, there are always vultures around lion kills. Well, it's generally because leopard kills are in the tree and they're a bit better hidden. So a lot of the trees that the leopards normally put the kills in have foliage, and the vultures just don't quite spot them in the trees. What are you up to, mister? Now, the two birds that do find leopard kills are often bateleur and tawny eagles, and they will scavenge off a leopard kill. They've got exceptional eyesight. He's slipping away back to Karula and Shongile, and we're going to slip away and let Goodwill get a chance to make his way into this sighting. What a wonderful way to start the afternoon sunset safari, and we do apologize for the belated start today. We are trying to sort out our radios, and you might notice my game drive is open, but we've got a brand new radio for final control, so that should hopefully make sure we can hear you all over the place. Now, isn't that exciting? So while we move out of here, let's go back to Jamie and see what she's up to.
my plan is to go across to Cheetah Plains to check out our comms. As you may or may not have known, that is one of the reasons for our delayed start this afternoon, was to get our radios all up and running so that we don't have to mangle the usernames that have sent through their questions. You know, all of you sending through questions, and then we don't quite know what your names are or whatever it might happen to be. Getting our radios all sorted out. So it makes sense to go and check that they're working in the farthest reaches of our traverse area. That being said, I bumped into this herd of elephants, and I can't resist just going to have a quick look. See if we can work out whether or not this is the herd that we saw yesterday with its gorgeous baby. Mark, you wanted to know if I've recovered yet from seeing the baby Ellie. Well, have any of you recovered yet from seeing the baby Ellie? Because I know I haven't quite. I don't know, it was just such a special moment when it fell down and it was, the others were rushing to its aid, going to look after it, this tiny, wobbly, fragile little creature. No, I don't think I've fully recovered, Chandra. I don't know if I'd describe it as recovered. I don't feel as though I'm suffering from anything, but it was gorgeous. It really was, and it's still putting a smile on my face every time I think of it. The way that little one was resting its leg on the log, on the fallen tree. I think it helps that elephants are such special creatures. I don't know what it was that was so... Well, actually, I do know what it was. There's a brand new elephant calf that made that sighting so special. I wonder what that digging was all about. There we go, using foot to break the grass completely, actually almost uproot it, and pull it up into its mouth. Dusting it off as it goes along. Somebody's been in the mud, judging by the crusty, dried bits of mud all around its ears. Even though it hasn't been that hot of a day, obviously these elephants have been enjoying a little bit of time spent cooling off in the thick, glutinous mud. If I had to guess, I'd say around what's known as Baboon Pan, given that this is just, that's the direction that they seem to have come from. It's just south of our boundary on Little Gowrie. Using his feet to dig through, and at probably, I would say, 3.5-ish years of age, maybe 4, this young elephant is now completely weaned and moving about at the back of the herd already, probably with mom still, not quite old enough to be fully independent from her, even though it is a male. But no longer completely attached at the hip to its mum. Kicking, using its toenails to break that branch. There we go, well done, little one. Managed to get through and break it up and off. Such a peaceful scene. In all my time in the bush, I've never seen an elephant give birth. But yesterday was as close as we could possibly have come, short of seeing the entire thing. I almost went to stop off earlier where the elephant actually gave birth, where Brent found the placenta, and just to see if I could find its first pile of dung. There were so many elephants in that area as well that unfortunately that wouldn't have been possible. I wouldn't have been able to go for a walk and go and see whether or not I could find the meconium, baby's first dung, essentially, which sounds like a really weird thing to want to go looking for. I find it fascinating. Something's got some elephants behind me very, very worked up. I might go and investigate that in a moment. But for now, Bethany, a very good question. Yesterday, of course, we were very familiar with that particular herd. It was the herd belonging to an elephant, or at least that includes an elephant, called Fang, who has a backwards-facing tusk. And yes, you're right, whilst they do not have territories, they definitely have home ranges that they move about in. And it can be absolutely massive. I mean, we see the same ones because we learn to recognize them, and what they'll usually do is spend a couple of months in the same area, or maybe a month or so, and then move somewhere slightly different and slightly different. When you think about how much distance, and I'm going to go investigate those elephants calling, by the way, because I don't think it's this herd that we saw yesterday, and most of them are in some very dense vegetation. So I want to go and just investigate the elephants calling behind me. So yes, they do have a home range, not a territory, and that of course is what a home range, what the difference is between a home range and a territory. A territory, whoopsie, didn't see that there. As we turn around, a territory is something actively defended. A home range is a place that the animal moves about in without necessarily actively defending it. Oh. Hi guys. It was a wonderful sighting yesterday. It was beautiful. Oh, stunning. How absolutely wonderful. We did get to see it playing. It was lovely. I know, it's too gorgeous. We did. We are broadcasting live, which means I have to go, I'm afraid. But it's lovely to see you. I hope you enjoy your time with them. There's some nice ellies just down here. Elephants. Not today. Cheers, everybody. Such lovely, lovely people. Yesterday, on the sunset safari, they had come from Karula while we were on our way to Karula and her impala kill. And they were so incredibly excited to tell us how Shungile was playing with the carcass and jumping up and down. And obviously they're still enthralled by that whole thing. Then when I said there's elephants there, the one lady went, oh. I know she's very scared of elephants. What do we talk about? Home ranges. Home ranges and territories. So yes, elephants do have home ranges, and that is why we see the same elephants that we do regularly. So short trunk ellie, of course, sometimes, because short trunk ellie, I'm trying to get rid of the squeak. Yo, there's lots of ellies around here. Tracks everywhere. You know, sometimes we go for a long time without seeing short trunk or any of the individuals. It had been ages since we last saw Fang, for example, or Fang's entire herd. So they often go and move into a different area, but we've been fortunate enough to get to really know I think we've seen at least most of the elephant herds that move through here. And somewhere there is a big boy in must, and I wonder if it's you. Nina's, speaking of territories and competition, don't you think about it, mister. Just you keep walking. Can't tell if he's in must because he's soaking wet from his mud bath that he's just had. I don't think he is, though. Nina's, you wanted to know, do elephants have any sort of competition between each other or within their groups? No, not really. Sometimes they have internal disputes. Let's go forward since he's popped himself right behind a branch. Sometimes they have little internal disputes. The females get cross with the young males for getting too close to their food or their calves. I don't know if you noticed earlier with the school drive, one of the elephants kicked another in the head. One of the females kicked the young elephant that was feeding with it in the head, just as they do. So they do occasionally push each other out of the way for a particularly attractive meal. And then, of course, the biggest thing, like while we sit with this big bull, biggish bull, one of the big main causes of conflict between elephants will be fighting for females, as it is with almost all animals out here. It's one of the prime reasons why elephants fight. Big bulls, most of the time it will be decided long before it comes to a physical confrontation. They'll size each other up and go, oh, actually, you're a lot bigger than I am. I don't think I'm going to mess with you. And off they go. And for the most part, as long as that behavior is shown, their presence is tolerated, whilst a male woos a female. But if there are two bulls of equal size, then they will fight, and they will fight seriously. And sometimes those fights can be fatal. It's unusual, but it does happen. And of course the famous Mfufunyan, one of the big tuskers in the Kruger National Park, and Mufufunyan means sort of the crazy one, the angry one. After he died, it was discovered he had a massive hole in the top of his skull that he could actually breathe through, because it went all the way down into his sinuses, kind of like a whale's blowhole. He could breathe through it, and that had been made by another elephant's tusk. Yet somehow he had survived that injury. So that's the only real dangerous competition that elephants will engage in. Hey boy, you don't look too bothered. No ladies around attracting your attention right now. Beautiful bull. He's just at the right age, that youngish age, but where he is now self-confident enough to allow us to spend time with him. You know, with some of the younger bulls, when they've just left home, they actually get so jumpy and nervous that they see you coming and they run a mile. It's these big bulls that it's quite pleasant to spend time with. Look at that. These are, I think, some of my favorite shots that we get of elephants. Looking, and it sounds like the weirdest thing, but looking into their mouths, I don't know what it is. Their eyes are my favorite part, of course, but watching the way that they feed, it just fascinates me. And he's also, obviously, spent a lot of time in the mud. He's not in must. Now we can see quite clearly. His temporal region isn't swollen. He's got mud on his eyelashes. It's crusted around his eye. And all of the dips and troughs. It makes him look even wrinklier than normal. Just because he's damp and dark. Hear him breaking the branches off. Zaki from Kenya, whom I imagine has seen 1 or 2 elephants in their time, he wanted to know if it's true that an elephant's memory is actually longer than that of a human being's, and that you've heard stories of elephants remembering people who tried to hunt them. I've heard those stories too. I would say yes, elephants have a very good memory. Is it better than human beings? Probably not. Sorry, I'm listening with half an ear to a weird sound, but I think it's just traffic. It's just traffic driving past. Sorry, Zaki, would I say it's better than human beings? I think that you'd find that very difficult to prove until we can actually properly talk to elephants. I think there are lots of stories about elephants. Some are myth and some are true. And it's a matter of sifting fact from fiction. They definitely have good memories. They remember where water holes are. They remember ancient pathways. And there seems to be a great deal of communication between the different herd members. And probably that you'll find that the oldest females, the ones that are the responsible for leading the herd, you'll find that they've been taught things by their mothers. So essentially the memory is passed down. But we do that too as human beings, through story. We have oral histories as well. So no, I wouldn't say that it's true that it's better. As for elephants remembering people who've tried to hunt them, I've heard lots of stories, and again, I think there is an almost mythical sense attached to certain elephants. Do I believe it? Possibly. I'm not sure. I think I'd have to see more empirical evidence, but instinctively I think that elephants are capable of recognizing individuals and associating them with certain memories. That I do think is possible. We just got to be careful of being realistic in our expectations of these animals, but I think they can. Don't know. I think you'd probably find that all of us as guides, all the different presenters would have different answers from you, and I have no doubt that Brent would give you an entirely different one. And speaking of Brent, let's head across to him. I know he was very keen on tracking lions. I wonder how that's going.
So our lion tracking on the sunrise safari got cut short by a mechanical problem with the vehicle. The vehicle is now top-notch. So we're just doing a big loop around this area, making sure they haven't crossed out of it during the day. So far, no tracks, so good sign. I think they're still quite close to Gallagher Camp, and where they killed that wildebeest yesterday. So let's go have a look in that area. Well, there's some people out there who think we might not be live, and one of them is Anon, a new viewer. Hi Anon, and Anon is wondering, how do we know this is live? Well, Anon, because I'm answering your question, and unless I was a psychic, I wouldn't be able to have guessed that Anon would ask a question during the Sunset Safari. So Anon, hashtag Safari Live is one way on Twitter, or you can send an email to questions@wildearth.tv. And we'll do our best to answer all your questions. So we are 100% live. We're in the middle of the African bush in South Africa. And lots of impala around this afternoon. Crossing the road. Hello, impalas. You're not what we're looking for. We're looking for lions. Hi, Lynn Davis. Lynn would like to know, is it illegal to keep the horns of antelope and things you find on the ground? It's not, Lynn. We can take them back into camp. It is, of course, illegal to be in possession of ivory without permission, or rhino horn, of course. But you can pick up buffalo horns and etc. Well, speaking about buffalo horns, now we found some horns attached to the buffalo. It looks like there's a big herd in here. Ooh, could you be drawing the lines towards us, buffaloes? Now the Nkuhuma Pride have been really focusing on buffalo during their hunting over the last while during the drought. And they've been very successful at hunting buffalo over the last couple of months. So this is a breeding herd. You can see males and females. Not sure how big it is yet. We might just be on the periphery of it, but there we go, you can see them stretching through. Let's go a little bit forward, see if there are any more. Now, the sound of a buffalo herd moving through the bush is the equivalent to the ice cream truck going down the road for small children. Hello, flows. Looks like a reasonable sized herd, not too big, but definitely enough to attract the attention of the incredible Nkuhuma Pride. Hi guys. And there you go, there's a young little buffalo bull there. And you can see they are a little bit nervous, and that's because they literally have been hounded by the lions over the last while. Oh, little one's got an itch. There we go, itch sorted. So we don't see too many young ones at the moment due to the drought. They were sort of the first to fall, and also a bit easier for the lions to catch those little ones. That one's giving us a sniff. Okay, well that's a good sign when you're looking for lions. Or Nick from Michigan would like to know, how long do buffaloes live for? The bulls 12 to 15 years, and the females around the same. Nothing really dies of old age out here. Well, I suppose it's partly old age, but normally a predator will get you. Now we almost want to see the Nkuhuma pride stalking through the bush here. Getting ready to pounce on the buffaloes. There's a small clump of nyari on Aubrey's Road, slowly mobile south. So if you guys are wondering what that is, that's the game drive radio, and we're in communication with the other game drive vehicles around here, so we can find the most animals. And so finding animals is actually very much a team effort. So we work quite closely, or very closely, with the Juma guides and the guys from Cheetah. I'm sorry about that. It seems like there's been a few little tech issues. We do apologize. We are live in the middle of the bush, and these things do happen from time to time. I'm now on the fire break, and the buffalo are heading that way, and I'm just making sure the lions haven't crossed out of our traverse area into Buffalo's Hook. Standing by.
Brent, report from the Eastern Channel. It looks as though there's wild dogs going north from Hoffman. There's a chance they're going to cross over Gowrie Main.
Okay, copy, thanks. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Report of wild dogs, my favorite animal.
I'm already into the same driveway, so I'm not going to be following up.
I'm just going to have to be on the radio for a second. Any stations close to Gowrie Main?
I'm heading back from Gowrie Main to see if maybe I'm a bit closer.
Yeah, copy Mike. Yeah, I'm on Gallagher shortcut. Could you just keep me informed and find out exactly where they're crossing from Hoffman's, near the little Gowrie sign, or, I mean, it's a long boundary.
Alright, copy that, Brent, so I'll update.
There we go. So we're gonna slowly make, or half speed make our way towards that report. Now, wild dogs is not something we see too often.
They lost them around Greenthorn Road, wherever that may be.
Okay. Now, this is where I was walking this morning looking for the lions. We had no luck in here. No, I thought I heard something. Just tracks of those buffalo here. Now, what of course also could happen, they might have made a kill last night. So we might have a look to see if there are any vultures sitting up in the trees. None so far. I'm caught. Sorry about that. There you go. Sorry, my earpiece got caught on the door handle. It's pulling my head down. Remember, this is 100% live. You can get hold of us by using the hashtag Safari Live on Twitter, or email questions@wildearth.tv. Now, the buffalo have passed through this area. Now, what I'm hoping is that the lions are trailing them, and we might pick the lions up behind the buffalo herd, and obviously keeping my ear out for any potential sign or report of the wild dogs. Well, Hassan Ali is wondering, how do I know that the lions are hunting for buffalo? Well, I don't. I'm making an educated guess. Now, the Nkuhuma Pride, their favorite food at the moment is buffalo, and they're killing 3 to 4 buffalo a week. So, and they were in this general area. So the sound of a buffalo herd is likely to attract them towards the buffalo herd. Now, they could, like yesterday, they caught a wildebeest. Now, they are opportunistic and they will catch whatever they can, but if there's a buffalo herd in the area, they'll tend to focus and target the buffalo. So we saw that buffalo herd was just on the top of that hill over there. So we're behind them now. And fingers crossed the lions might be on the prowl. Now, I'm just talking about how the Nkuhumas like to eat buffalo. Connie's wondering, what do the wild dogs eat? Any small to medium-sized antelope. Anything from a steenbok to a kudu is sort of in the wild dog range. And they're very effective at it. But mostly impala and duiker, steenbok, occasionally kudu and yala. They also very much like bushbuck in areas where there are lots of bushbuck, one of their favorite foods. Okay, well, we're going to keep checking for the lions, and I think I'm actually going to have a quick dash for the wild dogs, and then I'm going to come back for the lions. But Jamie seems to have found the tallest mammal in the world on Cheetah Plains.
Would have been relatively difficult to miss the tallest animal in the world, but we have come across the large bull giraffe that spends his days around the Cheetah Plains Lodge. Generally, we actually don't show him just because our signal can be incredibly patchy in this area. But the last few times I've driven past here on my way into Cheetah Plains properly, I have encountered him hanging out in this particular spot. I don't know what it is, but I feel as though this particular male giraffe has one of the most impressive tails I have ever seen. Unfortunately, it's currently behind a tree, and I'm a little bit concerned that if I reposition, I'm going to lose signal, but hopefully he shifts around and we'll get a chance to see his unbelievably long tail hair. I don't know why, it just looks particularly strange to me. I know that he is a bull. Most of you will be familiar with this whole process, but for our new viewers, he is a bull giraffe, a male giraffe, because of the size of the ossicones on the top of his head. Now, very often that's the only part of a giraffe you see in dense vegetation. Now you can see how they are rubbed bald at the top and quite thick and solid looking. Whoop. I'm just sorry, everybody. I'm trying to listen to the updates on the wild dogs so that I can keep Brent updated as well. They have crossed somewhere, but I don't quite know what that means. I don't know where they've crossed. I can't hear where they've crossed. But they are in the process of making their way towards Djuma. Yeah, they are going north. Okay, I don't know if they've crossed Gary Main though. And we'll just try and keep listening to that. In the meantime, yes, it's the size of the ossicones, which are the horns on the top of his head, but the horns not called horns, for they are ossicones. He's wrapping his incredibly flexible tongue around the branches and the trees and the leaves. We spoke about this the other day at great length, about why it is a giraffe's tongue has evolved to be purple and none of the other antelope or elephants that eat trees has. And the answer that some of you provided, and I think Curious One was one of them, was that it's because it's protected from the sun. So it's got the extra melanin because a giraffe's tongue is exposed to more sun than other animals. Whilst I recognize that is the answer given by quite a few theorists, I have to say I really struggle with that. I really do. I struggle with the idea that a giraffe's tongue is exposed to so much sun that it actually needs to be impregnated with melanin. It seems like such a bizarre idea to me. So, for our new viewers, a giraffe's tongue is not bright purple, deep purple. And it is very, very long, much longer than that of most of the other mammal species out here. And of course, it does serve a very important function. There we go. Such as, nostril licking. But most importantly, wrapping around the leaves. And yes, certainly when they're reaching up to the tippity top leaves, their tongue stretches right out. Is it exposed to the sun enough for it to get sunburned? It just seems... Anyway, it's a theory that's been put forward. Personally, I find it a difficult one to buy into, but it is definitely what most biologists seem to put forward as the explanation behind the darkness of a giraffe's tongue. Either way, it seems to be serving this giraffe particularly well, as it systematically munches away on the buffalo thorn that it's found. I do wish you could see his gorgeous tail, but instead of moving more out into the open, he's actually moved further behind a bush, and as I said, I'm a little bit reticent to reposition in case we do lose signal. Quite dark in color, but not as dark as some of the bulls that we've seen. It's actually a beautiful, almost russet brown on the spots. And generally the males slightly darker than the females and darkening with age. He is a particularly large bull though. Incredibly solid neck. Look at the fearless way he's plunging his head into the vegetation. His whole body geared towards dodging the thorns. Nina's, you are not the only one. Nina says that they absolutely love their eyelashes. Giraffe do have extraordinary eyelashes, and that's what I meant, their whole body geared towards avoiding thorns. Those lovely long eyelashes to make sure that the eye is protected from any protruding sticks and spines and thorns that might be around. They do have the most gorgeous eyelashes. It's my mom's favorite thing about them as well. Let's try and see if we can get another view, although he seems to be quite determined to be hidden behind. I mean, it's a massive open area. He's found one of the perfect spots to actually hide away. But there you go. You've got a brief view of his eyelashes. Now, one of the animals, of course, that we get very excited about when we see is the cheetah. And they share some similarities with giraffe in terms of their, not just in terms of their spotted coats. Debbie in Vancouver, you want to know, are there any animals that have absolutely no home ranges and are truly nomadic? Giraffe can be, to an extent, in certain areas. I would say that in South Africa, especially in the low veld, which is where we are at the moment, in this kind of vegetation, they definitely do have home ranges. We see the same giraffe relatively regularly. But at the same time, they can move very far afield. The other animal that can be either purely nomadic or have such a large home range as to be almost basically classified as a nomadic is a cheetah. The males tend to have territories, but the females have massive, massive home ranges. Please give us a chance to see your tail. I want to see if I'm going crazy or if anyone else agrees with me that he's got a particularly fabulous tail. He swishes it across his back. A cheetah is one example. Wild dog can be they've got such enormous home ranges so as to be almost nomadic, but not as much as cheetah. See? Got a fabulous tail. Again, right behind the trees. Giraffe can be the same. Certain herds of buffalo move through enormous areas. Eland often move through enormous areas. I'm trying to think of anything else. No, I think that pretty much summarizes it. Right, let's go forward a bit so we can have a look at his tail. And if we lose signal, we lose signal. The world shall not crumble. We shall survive and we shall struggle on. Beat off the gremlins with an imaginary stick. Should have grabbed one on my way past. Seemed fine. Hello. Have I just forgotten what a giraffe's tail looks like, or is that one particularly long? I mean the hair at the end. And especially now with the wind gusting and that gentle blowing motion, admittedly assisted by the fact that he's holding it out of the way of the defecation that he's currently doing. But still, look at it. Isn't that the perfect fly swatter? Massive length as it flicks across the sides. It could probably reach all the way to his shoulder if he got it right. I mean, he could sell shampoo and conditioner, some kind of hair product range, looking at the flowing tail of that giraffe. Now that would be incredibly tough and wiry. I wish he'd give me some. He does look like he had a grey hair there, didn't he? Maybe a bit more blonde. He would insist that it's blonde. I think it's grey. Definitely looks grey. I sympathize, giraffe. I've got a few. What's that impala shouting about? Now, Eileen, you wanted to know why there is a fence to our right. And I'm going to answer you, but I'm going to keep one eye on these impala. I want to see if they're just shouting at each other. Kind of looks like a horse paddock, doesn't it? Like you'd sort of canter horses round them to get them trained up, long leads or something. It's a helicopter pad, as far as I know. It's a helicopter pad for cheetah plains. I don't think it's very frequently used, nor indeed is it particularly even. But that is what it's there for. So it's to stop the elephants and the other animals from moving in there and just interfering with it in any way. Bye-bye, boy. I want to just go see what these impala are fussing about. They're not really enthusiastic about it, though, which makes me think it's a false alarm. Possibly just the males messing with each other and the females. Because now all has gone quiet. That's why I didn't go racing off. Okay, there we go. I'd say that was very much a false alarm. Nobody seems particularly concerned. Gotta be careful with impala, especially at certain times of the year. And this particular year, the males seem to be, there you go, see? Causing more trouble with each other for no clear apparent reason. I can still hear them. There's still alarm calling. Not this group though. The group that's calling is actually further back. I'm sitting on the boundary of Nkoro. That one impala is determined it's seen something. Just listening. I wonder where exactly the boundary begins. They've gone quiet now, though. No, still alarm calling. Just checking something on my phone. It's pretty cheeky, but I could just pop my nose here and not be on in coral. Let's just do that for a second. Oh, hold on. Let's go over to Brent, who has got the wild dogs.
Oh my god, look at this. We've got wild dogs trying to mate. They've just caught a tiny scrub hare. Looks like a scrub hare. Oh, looked like a scrub hare. They just swallowed it whole.
Wait.
There we go. My favorite animal, the African wild dog, the painted wolf. There we go. Look, he's going to cross right next to us. That's one of the male dogs. This looks like the remnants of the lower Sabi pack. Look at those wonderful big ears, those radar dishes. Oh, there's a lot of impala in the area up ahead. Oh, there's the female. She's got a tiny little piece of meat. I said it looked like a scrub hare that they were eating. That's not going to keep a pack of wild dogs full, even just 3 of them. There we go. Lynn is wondering, would wild dogs avoid the Nkulma pride, or would they go after them? They would avoid them. Lynn, the lions are probably one of the biggest threats, natural threats to wild dogs. Now, this is the 2nd most endangered canid in Africa, the 1st most endangered canid in southern Africa. There's only about 4,500 or 3,500 to 4,500 left in the wild. Now, look at that male. He's got a very distinct 2 white spots on his, one on his shoulder, one on his back. That's nice identifying features, that. Aubrey. Now, they would go for leopards. I've seen them chase. I've actually seen wild dogs kill a female leopard in northern Botswana. A bigger pack than this. Maybe they'll go for a drink at the treehouse water.
Standing by, Andrew. Michael, you can go there. I'm gonna
It's only 3 in this pack. There we go. We're going to keep up with them in case they spot an impala and we need to go dashing through the bush. This is very, very exciting. I know you guys are as excited as I am. They are my all-time favorite animal. There's also a possibility they might run into that Karula sighting. That is probably about 200 meters directly to the east of us. They're being quite nice at the moment. They're not going too fast. Mauricia says, hold on to your seats. You're about to go on a wild dog hunt with Brent. Yes, I do like the doggies and I do like following them on the hunt. They have incredible stamina and they keep up this loping gait for many a kilometer. They can actually do about 60 kilometers an hour and keep that up for up to about 4 or 5 kilometers, which is incredible. It's going to be interesting to see where they go from here, whether they cut north towards quarantine or they keep heading east down this road. Oh, they're stopping. Looks like decision time is happening. they are heading towards where Karula's kill is at the moment. Well, a big welcome to Kevin, who's a new viewer, and he'd like to know, is a wild dog a hyena? Not at all, Kevin. It is not even closely related. It is a dog, it's a canid, although it's separated from domestic dogs about over 1 million years ago. Let's see where they're going. And they've got different types of teeth. They've got teeth that are made for ripping, and they're much sharper than your normal dog's teeth. And obviously a hyena is not even related to a dog at all. It's actually more closely related to a mongoose. It's its entirely own species.
The driveway that comes out from there is a sign.
I think they might have smelt
South of the
Karula's kill. Look at them, they're getting excited. Look at that head bopping. Now that leopard carcass, Karula and the cubs are not far from here at all. We're going back down the road. There we go. Look at them. They're excited. They've smelt. I think they might even have spotted the leopards. Hold on. See that tails are up? That's a sign of excitement in wild dogs. Now let's hope Shongile, Hosanna and Karula are quick to the trees. Look at them go. Where's Karula? I haven't seen her yet. There she goes. She's up the tree. Karula's gone straight up the tree. Where are the cubs now? Oh, the cubs, I can hear trees. Let's get in closer. Isn't this absolutely amazing? Now, Karula's up the tree. I'm sure Shongi and Hosanna also. They're underneath the kill at the moment. They smelt that stomach content and they ran straight in here. Look at the one. Oh, he's trying to jump up. That's a little bit high for you, my friend. As much as I love dogs, that's a little bit out of their field of capabilities. Oh, that was a big one. It's still quite a long way away from the kill. I'm just going to try and get us in a spot where we can see him jumping a bit better. How's that for him? Oh, now he's decided to stop jumping. Now, there we go. They're directly underneath Karula now. There's the queen. They've found the stomach. So that's just the stomach contents. Don't worry, it's neither of the next progeny. I heard them climbing a tree. Have you seen any of the cubs, Vim? I think they would have skedaddled even further. I did hear them climbing trees. We're going to start jumping again. Now, Mandy would like to know, is it true that wild dogs perform a playful ceremony to get the pack riled up before hunting? Well, it's a greeting ceremony, and they do. It's not really to get them riled up. Now, they're an incredibly social animal, one of the most social animals out here. So it's to affirm oh, we're going to have a little jump. It's too high for you, my friend. Right, sorry. So they do that, and it's more to affirm the bonds between the different individuals. Andrew. Andrew, there's Mashoa are now in the same position as Karula.
Where's Karula now?
Karula and the Mampimpans have gone Pezul.
Okay, couple of things. I'm going to try follow this bula here through this thicket, holding off Mike to get in.
Copy, thanks. So they're starting to get mobile back down towards Weaver's Nest now at the Mashoa. So Karula and the cubs safe up in the trees. There's one dog still thinking, maybe I can jump that high. Free meal, free meal, free meal. Winter Prism is asking, would a leopard eat a wild dog? Not unless they were incredibly desperate. Sorry, 1 second. Aubrey, there's 3 Mashoa at Karula's Nyama now. Look at them, they're still running around here. What are they spotted?
Well, he went through the thicket, so the mother's still calling
Well, you found a little snippet, a little band.
the driveway to
See where those are going? Oh, the cub! Oh, there goes the other cub. Oh, you silly cub. Why on earth would you come down the tree? That was Hosanna. They're after Shongile now, but she's got to a tree. Karula's chasing the dogs now. She's come down the tree to try to defend the cubs. But the cubs are safe. Karula nearly wasn't. Wow, what excitement. I have no idea why that leopard cub decided to come down the tree, but that's a valuable lesson. Oh, wow. Jeez, that was close. Hosanna, with his fat belly, nearly didn't make it up the tree. There he is. He's in the thicket there now. He's going to have a few knob thorns in him when he gets down. Shongile made her escape quite well. She was quite far away. There she is. And the dogs are still trying to jump. There's one right below Karula here. Hey puppies, exciting day. Karula not impressed with wild dogs.
Nobody's going to come out the driveway, Chicana driveway.
Aubrey.
No, I'll be on there for a bit.
Thanks. Yeah, once Mike gets here, then they'll...
Don't worry, the cubs are safe. No, Hosanna was very lucky there. He nearly became a wild dog snack.
I hope he comes out soon.
Sorry. Aubrey, did you copy about the Mashoa at the Karula sighting? Affirm, they're here now. They're lying underneath a Karula. Copy, no problem. Now let's just roll back a little bit. Beach cub is wondering how long will they normally hang around for? Well, not normally very long. I think they thought they might get a free meal. And now it's amazing thing is, so as soon as Karula thought one of those cubs was in danger, she actually came down the tree. So there she is. Both cubs are in the tree, although Hosana looks like he's about to do something stupid again. It almost looks like he thought about coming down again. That was not a good idea, little boy. And there's a dog who noticed it. As soon as he started looking like he was coming down, the wild dog jogged up towards where the tree he's in. There's the dog. I'm sure Hosana is not very comfortable in that knobthorn, but I guarantee young Hosana it's more comfortable than being in the jaws of an African wild dog. So Hosana is just above him. There's another dog there. Now, Jeremy, who's 15 years old, would like to know, what is the biggest pack of wild dogs I've ever seen? Probably about 36. It was 36 wild dogs. That was in Botswana. Oh, look at that. He's jumping up to the tree Hosana's in. Hosana, go back up. Stop trying to come down. I know you've got a thorn in your bottom, but it's better than a tooth in your bottom. Oh, they're such beautiful animals, the African wild dog. The scientific name is Lichen pictus, the painted wolf. I just do love their variations. They're also probably one of the most exciting animals to watch. They're constantly up to something, and that's why I think I really like them. Also, absolutely fascinating social structure, one of the most closely knit social structures of any animal out in the bush. I think they're probably going to leave Karula and the cubs quite soon. There's no meal to be had anymore. There we go, there's one of the last dogs going past. The other two are already off to the left. Okay, they're on the move again. That means we're on the move again. Let me just hold on. VM's putting on some infrared. Now, of course, wild dogs is one of the diurnal species we don't shine the lights on, so we're going to use the infrared. Apparently, we are going to be green for infrared today. So, actually, I'm just trying to see what they're doing. Let's just go around. There we go. I'm just going to see. They are starting to move away from where Karula is. We've still got a bit of ambient light around, so we don't quite need to go into infrared just yet. Now, they are the most difficult animal to follow through the bush. because they are so quick. They don't walk like leopards and lions, they jog everywhere, as you can see. Okay, Vim, just keep an eye on them for me. So they're going through an area where I cannot follow in the car. There's too many fallen trees. Hold on, hold. Hoppa. Sorry, I'm not talking. I need to concentrate on trying to keep with them. If they go straight in here, oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear. The world's luckiest scrubhead, did you see it? It just ran past their noses. Yes, almost, there we go, like Ben says, the world's luckiest leopard cub. Oh dear. Now, I know this area very well, and it's near impossible for us to find a good spot to go through here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and guess where they're going to come out on the other side, and hopefully we'll guess right and they'll be chasing something towards us. But while we do that, let's go to Jamie, who's got some ellies.
I do indeed have some ellies, and I'm just approaching quite slowly because of course now it's getting very dark. I can't see as well as I would in the middle of the afternoon, and I've turned off all my lights. Let's go and see. I just encountered a very, very excited group of tourists on this main road on their way to the lodge, and they were very keen to tell me that they'd seen some elephants and that the elephants had some tiny, tiny babies with them. Let's go and see if their definition of tiny is the same one as mine. Shift off the road slightly so that the elephants have space to come past us as they wish. Hello, big ladies. Okay, they're going to keep walking towards us so we can actually stop here. It is getting a little bit too dark for an elephant sighting. As you know, unlike Brent, we do not have infrared on this vehicle. Infrared capabilities, we will. Oh, what did that tree ever do to you, little one? Doesn't even have leaves on it. You're just pushing it over for fun. It is a young elephant. Definitely not a newborn, though. Probably close to, or just over a year old. I suspect that our new little baby elephant is not going to have gone very far in the last 24 hours. And my suspicion would be that they are somewhere on Djuma, not too far from where we left them yesterday. Oh, that's got to be Brent. Only the WildEarth vehicles are lit up quite so brightly. Yep, that's got to be Brent, which means the wild dogs are on their way to this the southern boundary. Oh, now he's coming towards us on the new Firebreak Road. Does he know we're spying on him?
Where are you checking now? That road.
Let's see if he gets the wild dog question right. I would go and help him, but obviously, as you can tell, my way is somewhat blocked by the elephant traffic jam in front of me. That's the equivalent of those of you who are stuck in afternoon traffic today, or perhaps stuck in afternoon traffic, I don't know, I forget how time zones work, will be stuck in afternoon traffic in a few hours. Well, in that case, your traffic is very, very different. Your frustrations are very different to ours. And sitting with an elephant herd is hardly a a stress. Now, unfortunately, I can't do anything about the light situation. I can't do anything about moving because there are elephants moving past us. I can try and get a little bit closer to them, but that's about the extent. And then there's nothing more that I can do. Maybe they'll let me come through. Tend to find with elephants they're a bit more relaxed at night, strangely enough. I don't know quite what it is. You can often move very, very close to them when you go past them in the dark. Hi, guys. Please prove me right about that. I can see you watching me, big girl. Can I squeeze past here? Or are you, little nonsense, going to get me into trouble? Munching happily away. And Debbie, isn't it incredible? Something we were talking about with the giraffe as well. But Debbie in Vancouver says it's incredible how elephants can eat huge thorns and not be terribly bothered by it at all. It's one of those marvels of nature that they are able to put those trees into their mouths. I mean, half of the trees... Oh, it's the car creaking. Put the handbrake up. Like we're about to go tumbling down the precipice or something. Half of the trees that were attacked this afternoon or last night in our driveway were zebra wood trees, which have the worst spines of any tree out here. They've got spines on their spines. They're not even thorns, they're spines. And they are capable of easily just slicing through your boot or your car tire. Yet for an elephant, it is perfectly edible for them. It always also amazes me because, of course, elephants don't fully chew and digest their food. It amazes me that their digestive systems are equipped to cope with that sort of thing. It really is truly remarkable. The young Ellie going towards the adult. I think we can sneak past now. We should be okay. Let us give it a go. Do you mind if we come through, Ellies? Never mind, you have to be able to take the handbrake off first. Forgot I put it on. Give him a nice wide berth, and let's go see if we can help Brent out with the wild dogs. So it is amazing the toughened nature of an elephant's mouth. And it doesn't just apply to elephants. As I mentioned before, giraffe as well, all of the herbivores somehow manage, and it's not just their mouth, the inside of their mouths. I mean, we walked within 5 meters of a buffalo thorn, and somehow you find yourself with buffalo thorns everywhere hooked into your flesh, or a knob thorn, for example. Anything with those curved hook thorns, they are so sharp. And Jerry can attest to that, I know, because she actually managed to get some buffalo thorns embedded in her leg. It's interesting how tough they really are and how nimble their lips are. But then the same applies to the mouths of predators as well. When they slice through those or crunch through those bones and break them up, it's amazing that they don't get cut up by the shards of bones themselves. Just going to drop my light for kudu on our right. I'm not going to stop and look at them, obviously, because it's very dark. It's okay, boy. Alright. See if we can help. Okay, let's head over to Brent. I think he's caught up with them.
So there we go. First time ever on Safari Live. Wild dogs in infrared. They've popped out on Twin Dams where we were hoping they were going to pop out. Now, there's some buffalo at the waterhole. Now, sometimes they might just play with buffalo, tease them. Isn't this awesome? It's quite a cool, eerie sort of sight. Dogs in the darkness. They're running straight towards where we saw buffalo a little bit ago. They might play with the buffalo. They might go for a drink. Well, it looks like the buffalo are already gone. Hello, puppies. Listen to that. They are really thirsty. Haven't you guys provided some excitement? The sunset safari. The painted wolves, the African wild dogs. Incredible animals. Now if they go straight from there, it's going to be very difficult for us. And it's because they're going to disappear into the Mawati River. But it looks like they might head north now along the road. There we go. Now, of course, it's really hard to follow them during the day, let alone at night, but this is so exciting. They've popped down. Oh, let's go. They're going in the riverbed. That's really good luck for us. Oh, no, they're not. They're crossing the riverbed. That's, I'm afraid, probably going to be our last little glimpse of them disappearing into the night. There's no way as we can drive off-road in that area after animals moving that fast with no lights. Oh! Wow. Wow, wow, wow. What an amazing experience. Now, very valuable lesson learnt by young Shongile and Hosanna there. They thought all was done and came down from their trees and the dogs spotted them. And young Hosanna just made it up that very thorny tree in time. But a valuable lesson, don't fool around with the African wild dog. Oh, we can calm down now. Okay, while I draw myself towards myself, let's go back to Jamie to give you an update on how she's doing.
I'm sorry. I just faced down the scariest charge I've ever experienced today by an impala. It was terrifying. It just came, a shame, the poor thing. I mean, I had my lights off as quickly as possible, but the poor thing came sprinting down the road towards us. I thought it was going to run straight into us. It's obviously shame. Poor thing is probably still panicked from the presence of the wild dogs. Whew! That was intense, Chandra. That was bizarre. Did you get that on camera? I mean, I don't know if the girls in Final Control could see that at all. And they must have, as it raced towards us. Phew, okay. me just wait for my heart rate to return to normal. I thought it was going to come and thump into the front of the vehicle. I was trying to make noise and switch my lights off at the same time. I wasn't even going fast. Oh, okay. Right, so a dramatic afternoon with the wild dogs and the leopard, and I got super excited earlier. I thought I'd found the first chameleon of the season, even though knowing rationally it's a little bit cold for them to be out and about tonight. Turned out to be a pair of puffback shrikes. So I found, on the one hand, I found a puffback shrike nesting place for the evening. On the other hand, I couldn't, of course, shine my spotlight on them once I realized what they were. That was slightly disappointing because I did get very excited. I also thought it was the fattest chameleon I had ever seen. And then as Jean-Andre started zooming in, I realized that unless it was a feathered chameleon, and perhaps evolving in the same way as the dinosaurs towards the bird family, I was in fact looking at a bird. But I have found your bush baby. Our cameraman's favorite thing. I enjoy them. I think it might even cross the road, you know. Don't go, don't go. See you there. Peeking at us. No, neither do I. I've actually lost it completely. Did it jump while I was looking at my monitor? There it is, there it is, there it is. Hello, little bush baby. Now you're in a very difficult spot. Giving itself a groom. Oh, they are so cute, aren't they? Just too gorgeous for words. The smallest of the primates that we get out here, and purely nocturnal, which has earned them the name of Nagapi, little night monkey in Afrikaans. Bounce. And the family that lives around the DRC, our main camp, what did it catch? It caught something. Catch an insect. Well done, little one. Such quick reaction speeds. The family living outside DRC have become very, very used to our presence, to the point that we can stand about 2 meters away from them and just watch them. I believe it's been nicknamed Barnaby by Kirsty. Is that correct, Kirst? Is it Bartholomew? Was it Bartholomew or Barnaby? I think it was Barnaby. Well, either way, this bush baby's got an amazingly itchy ear. That was Barnaby, by the way. Barnaby the bush baby. They are such little characters. Those massive ears pinpointing the movement of the insects. Now that it's managed to have an insect dinner, stopping to have a quick grooming session. And of course, that grooming session could well involve urinating tiny drops of urine onto its feet and paws. Once our bush baby does start to move off, the lovely ladies of Final Control, having just seen what happened to us, and with you, obviously, Brent sending you across to us and us giggling like mad people, and obviously my heart racing, the lovely Final Control girls have actually prepared a replay of that moment so that you can have a look and you can see what I mean about the way that it came out of nowhere. And you could see why I was so terrified of it coming to crash into the vehicle. So just have a look at this clip. There you go. You see, it was quite a surprise. A seriously unexpected moment. I'm going to try, since our bush baby seems so thoroughly engrossed in his evening ablutions, I'm going to try and see if we can't sneak a little bit closer and keep an eye on it. It seems to be quite relaxed with the whole idea. Oh my goodness! The whole sunset safari has completely flown by, and it's the end of our sunset safari. So, on that note, and since our bush baby just jumped away, He disappeared off. He's gone. On that note, a big thank you to Jeandre as well as all of you for joining us. I hope you had a wonderful, exciting drive, and we'll catch up with you tomorrow on the Sunset Safari. Bye-bye, everybody.
Well, we've hit a traffic jam. You can't see it, but there's a great big beast in front of me in this darkness, and it is impeding my route home. And it's one of those great beasts you don't want to move too quickly or try force off the road. It's of course an elephant. And you can hear there's a few more around us. But wow, what an exciting sunset safari. That is amazing. That type of behavior is not something that people get to see very often, and we were incredibly lucky to be right there when it all happened. I'm just going to move one little bit closer to our roadblock, and as we come towards the end of this sunset safari, I'm still at a loss for words. What an incredible sighting of Karula, the cubs, and 3 wild dog. And hopefully those little monsters learned a lesson today about how to avoid other predators in the area. And as we draw to the end of the sunset safari, we'll be seeing you bright and early tomorrow morning for the sunrise safari, and hopefully it'll produce as much as it's produced here. So from Wiem and myself and all the extra bugs I've got on me now from the light and the rest of the Safari Live crew, it's been great having you with us, and we look forward to doing it all again tomorrow. So toodaloo for now.